Hello, my name is James Lincoln. I'm the president of the Southern California American Association of Physics Teachers, but for this purpose, more relevant, I am the director of the New Physics Teacher Workshop of Southern California, and I have been in both of these positions for more than 4 years. I'm actually a co-director with a more experienced physics teacher, Bill Layton, though I've been teaching for 12 years. The New Physics Teacher Workshop is organized as a 2-year workshop series, and we have 3 workshops a year. So over 2 years there are 6 workshops that original material is presented. Then it cycles and restarts. We've been through 2 cycles since we started 4 years ago. The 3 workshops serve approximately 30 teachers at a time, and the first one focuses on mechanics and heat, the second one focuses on electricity and magnetism, and the third one focuses on waves, sound, and light, and sometimes modern physics and oscillations. The way the years are divided on mechanics is the first year we have a focus on energy, and the second year we have a focus on momentum. During electricity and magnetism, we focus on circuits one year and electrostatics the next year. When it comes to waves, there's so much to do with waves, we just try not to repeat ourselves, and it's not difficult because there's such a variety of waves and light. The mechanics workshop is in the fall, the electricity one is in the winter, and the waves one is in the spring. An important aspect of these workshops is that the participants receive a lot of stuff. They receive a lot of presents, prizes, and equipment that they can use immediately the next day. The idea is, rather than give them fun or exciting stuff, we try to give them the most useful stuff possible. Sometimes it gets donated, but most of the time we buy it with grant funding. The average workshop costs a few $1,000s. Which means each participant is receiving about $50 of stuff, give or take a little bit. We also provide lunch and breakfast at the meetings, although our hosts usually provide breakfasts. The workshops take place at universities or colleges. For example, we try to have the same ones as the years go by, but we're always having to beg and ask for a place, as none of us are college professors. The average person who does attend is a physics teacher with less than 5 years experience. For example, the attendant might be a person who taught chemistry for 10 years and now suddenly has to teach physics. That would count as a new physics teacher. Or, in some cases, middle school science teachers want to come because they teach physical science. And sometimes more experienced physics teachers want to come, and we say that these are both okay, both of those type of people can come, but new physics teachers will always get the priority to the equipment. Supply companies have often been supportive. You ask for prizes and sometimes one piece of equipment donated for each participant, and you help them advertise by giving them catalogs and sometimes filling out those email cards as prizes. But a majority of our money comes from private donation. In specific, we get it from the Brown Foundation of California, which is actually started in Northern California, and our New Physics Teacher Workshop is the Southern California component of another New Physics Teacher Workshop in Northern California, which is actually called PTSOS, and they have a website, ptsos.org. The average workshop is divided into 2 parts, the morning and the afternoon, and of course there's lunch, which serves as the divide. The morning session are lecture-based demonstrations. The demonstrations often involve equipment that the participants are going to be receiving, either something that Bill has made, because he's a handy guy, he makes a lot of stuff in his garage, or stuff that James has bought or acquired through donation. Also, other workshop leaders such as Frank Lee and Cliff Gerstmann Chaya Bauer and Kevin Dwyer are regular contributors. So in the morning, each workshop leader will give a 20-minute lecture on a specific topic, for example, Newton's laws. During this lecture, he will do demonstrations and explain how they teach the laws. A good example of a demonstration might be heating up a brass ball and showing that due to thermal expansion, it no longer fits in a flush ring that it once did. At this time, the participants are also receiving handouts which are in folders. These contain worksheets and labs that can be copied for next day use. In the afternoon, we have hands-on laboratory sessions where each participant is performing a lab with an officer. For example, we divide the group of maybe 30 into 4 groups of 8, and each officer takes one of these groups and supervises them while they perform a laboratory or two during a half-hour period, and then they will rotate to the next group. For example, they'll go from a lab on momentum to another group where there's a lab on forces and inertia. Each officer carefully checks that they don't overlap in topics, so that 2 people aren't doing a Hooke's Law lab, for example. It is reasonable to ask whether we've been driven by the next generation science standards, the Common Core, and the answer to this question is we have been thus far relying on the excellent but now defunct California state standards in physics. These were independently ranked as the best standards in the nation for science, California's, and at the moment we are waiting for the next generation science standards to mature before we reorganize our curriculum and workshop style to adjust to these new standards. But when it comes to physics, the standards don't seem to be mature enough to warrant us changing our workshop style, which is already very successful and seems to be meeting the needs of the teachers. It's important to note that the new physics teacher workshop is not an AP physics workshop, that we do not hit the topics of the AP. We do not focus on teaching physics at the AP level, but much more on the conceptual level, much more on the, oh shoot, I need to find a lot of help teaching physics. AP physics workshops are in high supply, but oh shoot, I don't know how to teach physics workshops are not in very high supply. So the new physics teacher workshop is on physics fundamentals. That's what we're teaching. We definitely have a philosophy that hands-on learning is important, but the only way that new physics teachers can accomplish this is to get the equipment in their hands, and that's what we do. The new physics teacher workshop has met the needs of going on 400 independent teachers who have at least attended, but word of mouth is now taking over as the main way that new people seem to find me. I guess you might call it word of email. The last thing I want to say is that the new physics teacher workshop is growing. We are expanding. Primarily, it is planned that we will double the amount of workshops we do this year. We have 2 major sections, the Los Angeles branch and the San Diego or Southern California branch, the Southern California South branch, and we will be hosting new workshops down there this year. Thanks everybody. Please refer any questions to james@physicsvideos.net.